On our second wedding anniversary, the sound of the password lock unlocking echoed from the entrance, followed by the familiar, unhurried footsteps. I immediately went to greet him, taking his slippers from the shoe cabinet, kneeling down to help him change into them. No need. His usual cool voice came from above, carrying a hint of undeniable distance. You don't have to do these things, he said. My heart felt like it had been pricked by a needle tip. I stood up, trying hard to make my smile look natural. Today is our second anniversary. I made your favorite dishes. He hummed in response, as if acknowledging it. He unbuttoned his cuffs, casually placing his expensive watch on the shelf at the entrance. Then he headed straight to the study, without glancing at me again, or at the table where I had prepared dinner for 3 hours. I stood there. The warm lights in the dining room suddenly seemed cold. The aroma of the steak also became somewhat nauseating. This was our marriage, 2 years, Tisanin days. We were the closest couple in the eyes of the law, yet we lived like two precise business partners fulfilling a contract. He provided me with a luxurious life, and I played the role of a docile and sensible wealthy wife. About half an hour later, he came out of the study, already changed into home clothes. He glanced at the untouched dining table, his tone flat. Throw it away, it is cold. I didn't say anything, just silently carried those dishes into the kitchen. In the sink, the garbage disposal made a dull roar, as if whimpering silently on my behalf. Back in the living room, he was sitting on the sofa, legs crossed, looking at a financial document. Seeing me approach, he drew a black card from his wallet, placed it on the coffee table, and pushed it toward me. This month's and the anniversary gift. Pick something yourself. His gaze didn't even leave the document. It was like this again. All holidays, all anniversaries, all warmth ultimately ended with a limitless black card. I once thought Ethan Foster's love was like this black card, seemingly able to have everything, yet lacking any warmth. I picked up the cold card, softly said, "Thank you." Then, I took out my phone, skillfully opened the banking app, and transferred the large sum he had just deposited into my savings account named Safe House. Watching the account balance grow with another long string of zeros, the disappointment from the neglected dinner seemed somewhat soothed. Money wouldn't betray me. This was a lesson I learned at Curated, when I was kicked out of home, competing with stray dogs for a steamed bun in the winter night. Gathering my courage, I sat beside him, carefully opening up. Next week, my sister's university is having a parent-teacher meeting. Could you accompany me? No time. He flipped a page in the document, cleanly cutting me off. Let the driver take you. I'll cover the expenses. It is not about the expenses. The school requires a father or elder brother figure. He finally looked up, his deep eyes showing no ripple. Sophia, you should remember our agreement from the beginning. I don't interfere with your family, and I hope you don't bother me with these matters. My heart sank completely. Agreement. Yes, the agreement. I was just his wife in the agreement, not his partner in life. I understand. I lowered my head, hiding the sourness in my eyes. He seemed to feel his tone was a bit harsh, pausing in silence for a moment, then set down the document, leaning toward me. I smelled the clear cedar scent on him, the fragrance I had craved for 2 years. He reached out, stroking my cheek, his thumb gently wiping under my eye. His touch was light, yet carried a scrutinizing air. Don't make this expression on that face, he said lowly. It doesn't look like her. Boom. The last taut string in my mind snapped. Her, Lydia Reynolds. The name Ethan Foster hid at the tip of his heart. The one publicly recognized in high society as the future Mrs. Foster. And I was chosen by Ethan Foster only because my brows and eyes resembled hers by 70%, becoming a counterfeit during her time abroad. A substitute in the following days, Ethan Foster didn't come home. Yet I felt my body was always listless, sleepy, and often nauseous. At first, I thought it was gastroenteritis. But when I smelled coffee in the tea room and rushed to the bathroom in nausea, an unbelievable thought exploded in my mind. My period was delayed by nearly half a month. I practically ran out of the office, buying several different brands of pregnancy tests at a roadside pharmacy. Back home, I locked myself in the bathroom, watching those 2 bright red lines appear over and over. My hands were trembling. The next day, I went to the hospital. When the doctor handed me the ultrasound report, pointing to the 2 small gestational sacs, smiling and saying, "Congratulations, Mrs. Foster. It is twins." 8 weeks already. I felt like I was wrapped in the sweetest cotton candy in the world. Ethan Foster and I had children, twins. Perhaps the arrival of the children would change this distorted relationship between us. Perhaps he would, for the children's sake, try to love me a little. I tucked that ultrasound report like a treasure into my bosom. On the way home, I even detoured to a maternity store. Looking at those tiny, soft clothes and shoes, my heart melted. For the first time, I felt a blood-connected bond between Ethan Foster and me. This cold villa might truly become a home. That evening, Ethan Foster returned. I hid the ultrasound behind my back, my heart pounding like a little deer. I took a deep breath, preparing to tell him this huge good news. But his phone rang. He glanced at the screen. His originally stern expression softened instantly. That iced and melting gentleness was something I had never seen. He made a shushing gesture to me, then walked to the floor dan ceiling window, answering the call. "Lydia." Just those 2 words froze my blood instantly. My hands and feet turned cold. That ultrasound report, carrying all my hopes, now pricked painfully at the edges in my palm. Like a ghost, I stood in the shadow of the study, listening to him speak to the person on the other end, in a tender tone I had never heard. "Yeah, just got back. Why didn't you sleep more to adjust to the jet lag? Everything's arranged here. Just come back safely. No trouble." Lydia Reynolds on the other end seemed to ask something. Ethan Foster's voice paused. He subconsciously glanced back toward the living room, confirming I wasn't there, then lowered his voice. But each word was like a poisoned steel needle, ruthlessly piercing my ears. He said, "My marriage to her was never about feelings. Just business needs. You don't have to care. When you return, everything can start anew. Business needs. No feelings. Start anew." I felt the whole world spinning, a massive buzzing in my ears. I leaned against the cold wall to keep from collapsing. I lowered my head to my flat abdomen. So, my children and I were just erasable, insignificant existences in his business empire. All my joy and anticipation became a huge joke in this moment. I don't know how I made it back to the bedroom. I threw myself onto the bed, tears silently sliding down, soaking the pillow. I recalled the bits and pieces of these 2 years. He would have the servants prepare brown sugar water during my period, but never ask me personally. Later, I learned Lydia Reynolds had severe dysmenorrhea. He would buy jewelry I glanced at more than once, but when I wore it, his eyes would drift, saying, "It is okay." Later, I learned it was Lydia Reynolds' favorite designer brand. He even personally supervised me taking medicine when I had a cold. I was once deeply moved by it. Now, thinking back, he was just afraid that if I, the substitute, fell ill, it would affect the role he needed me to play. All the warmth was an illusion. All the coincidences were premeditated. I was just a person living in Lydia Reynolds' shadow. Even my own life was a clumsy imitation of another's. I touched my abdomen, where 2 innocent little lives were. I couldn't let them be born into a loveless scam. I couldn't let them be labeled as business needs from birth. They should be anticipated, cherished. If their father couldn't give that, then I would. I sat up from the bed, wiped away my tears. In that moment, all my hesitation, weakness, and reluctance were replaced by an unprecedented determination. For my children, I had to leave. From the deepest part of the drawer, I pulled out the divorce agreement I had drafted long ago but never had the courage to present. I signed my name in the Party B position, Sophia Wade. I printed an irrelevant business document from online and threw the ultrasound report, along with all my delusions, into the shredder. After doing all this, I changed into a sharp casual outfit, dragging the suitcase I had packed long ago, containing only my personal items, and walked out of the bedroom. Ethan Foster was still on the sofa in the living room, looking at documents, seemingly unaware of my abnormality. I placed the signed divorce agreement on the coffee table in front of him. "Ethan Foster, let's divorce." My voice was calm to the point where it felt foreign to me. He finally looked up from the document, his sharp gaze landing on me, then sweeping over the suitcase at my feet, his brows furrowed tightly, eyes showing a hint of impatience and anger. "Sophia, what are you throwing a tantrum about now?" "I'm not throwing a tantrum." I looked straight into his eyes. "I'm serious. The agreement has expired. Miss Reynolds is back too. It is time for this substitute to exit." His face darkened instantly, the air pressure around him dropping frighteningly low. He stood up, step by step, approaching me, his tall figure completely enveloping me. "Without my agreement, you can't go anywhere." He reached out to grab my wrist, his tone carrying his habitual dominance and control. I stepped back, dodging his touch. I removed the wedding ring from my ring finger, the one he had casually tossed to me back then, and gently placed it on the divorce agreement. "The ring is yours. I haven't touched a cent of your money. The card is inside too. We're even." I turned, dragging the suitcase toward the door. "Sophia." Behind me came his suppressed roar of anger. "You dare step out that door and see what happens." I didn't look back. I pulled open the door outside. It was pouring rain. The cold raindrops instantly soaked my hair and shoulders. But I felt this was the freest air I had breathed in 2 years. In the rainy night, I took one last look at that golden cage that had imprisoned me for 2 years. I gently placed my hand on my abdomen. "Babies, Mommy will take you home." But where was my home? I didn't know. But I knew, from now on, wherever you are is home. I resolutely stepped into the vast rain curtain. 5 years, Itembabe Arshawudes. This number was enough to renew a city's appearance, and enough for me to transform from Sophia Wade into Vivian completely. On the left bank of the Seine in Paris, in an old building covered with ivy, was my studio. Sunlight streamed through the huge floor Zan-to-Zan ceiling windows, scattering on the work table littered with design drafts and various gems, refracting fine, warm light. "Mommy." A crisp child's voice interrupted my thoughts. I turned back, seeing my 4 Zan and Zan A, Zan half, Zan year, Zan old Anna Foster. My little princess. Anna holding a teddy bear taller than her, wobbling toward me today. She wore a pink princess dress, her big grape Zan-like eyes blinking, looking just like Ethan Foster. But that sweet smile was my own. "What is wrong, baby?" I set down my drawing pen, hugging her into my arms. Brother said, "If you don't come eat breakfast with us, the macarons you made yourself will be claimed as his personal property." Anna planted a kiss on my face, complaining in her milky voice. I couldn't help but laugh. In the dining room, my other treasure, Jason Wade, my little knight. Jason was sitting straight, wearing a tiny custom suit, his short legs dangling in the air, holding a tablet like a little adult, watching financial news. His features were practically a scaled, Jan-down version of Ethan Foster, especially those calm eyes that seemed to see through everything. "Mommy, Karen Group's stock price dropped by 5% after opening today. I analyzed it. It is affected by their chief designer's resignation. Your opportunity has come." Jason didn't look up, speaking in fluent French. I walked over, ruffled his soft hair. "Got it, my little strategist, eat first." This was my life, 5 years ago. That rainy night, with only a few tens of thousands in savings, and 2 unknown lives in my womb, I fled that city that imprisoned me in disarray. I arrived in Paris, language barrier, no relatives or friends. Pregnancy symptoms tormented me endlessly. I washed dishes in a restaurant kitchen while frantically learning French and jewelry design. The day the children were born, looking at the 2 tiny wrinkled lives in the incubator, I felt for the first time what armor was. For them, I could do anything. I used all my savings and astonishing talent to enter a French emerging designer competition, winning first place, my work. Nirvana drew inspiration from that darkest time. It was bought by an anonymous Eastern buyer at a sky-Zan high price, giving me my first pot of gold. From then on, the name Vivian gradually gained a foothold in the European jewelry design world. I established my own studio, had a team following me. I was no longer that Sophia Wade who relied on a man's handouts, pinning security on a string of bank digits. I was my own security. Vivian, my partner, a blonde, blue, tan-eyed French woman, Isabella walked in, handing me an invitation. The domestic star design competition this year invites us as special overseas brand participants. This is our best chance to open the domestic market. I took the gilded invitation, my fingertip pausing slightly when touching the words, star. That place I fled 5 years ago. Anna came over, pointing at the address on the invitation, curiously asking, "Mommy, is this your hometown?" I looked at my daughter's clear eyes, then at Jason beside her, looking expectant. Their lives shouldn't have only a vague concept of homeland. Fine, it was time to go back. Not as a wealthy wife, but as designer Vivian. To reclaim what was mine, I was no longer that easily shattered Sophia Wade. Half a month later, I landed in that familiar yet strange city with my team and children. The opening cocktail party for the Star Design competition was held in the city's top hotel ballroom. Elegant dresses, clinking glasses, the air filled with perfume, alcohol, and ambition. I wore a black velvet gown I designed myself, the hem adorned with crushed diamonds forming a brilliant galaxy. Hair pinned up, exposing my slender swan neck. Makeup exquisite, expression indifferent. That is Vivian. More elegant than in photos. Heard she is big in Europe. Wonder if it is true or not. Who cares? A single mom with 2 burdens. How much background can she have? The surrounding discussions were neither loud nor soft, just enough to reach my ears. I sipped my champagne unconcerned. Over the years, I've heard worse. My armor was already indestructible. Ladies and gentlemen, suddenly the lights dimmed. Only a spotlight on the stage. The host said in an excited voice, "Now, let's welcome with the warmest applause the sponsor of this competition, Foster Group's president, and our chief judge for this event, Mr. Ethan Foster, to give a speech." My breath stopped for a moment. My heart felt like it was gripped by an invisible hand, aching densely. I saw him slowly walk out from backstage, standing in the center of the light. 5 years unseen, he had shed some of his youthful sharpness, gaining more mature steadiness and oppression. A hand-tailored black suit made him look like a king controlling everything, his face still handsomely flawless. But those deep eyes were colder than 5 years ago, more lonely. He spoke, his voice low and magnetic, transmitted through the microphone across the hall. He spoke platitudes about design, about the future, each word resounding. My gaze crossed the crowded people, crossed 5 long years, landing on him. He was the man I loved, the father of my children, also the one who hurt me deepest. We were separated by a sea of people. He on the admired high stage, I hidden in an unnoticed corner. This seemed to be the eternal uncrossable distance between us. I withdrew my gaze, tilted my head back, draining the champagne. The cool liquid slid down my throat, suppressing the surging emotions in my heart. "Goodbye, Ethan Foster. This time, I'm your opponent." To show humanistic care, the competition committee specially held a family day carnival after the preliminaries. The venue was the hotel's back garden lawn. I changed Anna and Jason into casual parent-dan-child outfits. Anna was like a happy butterfly chasing colorful balloons on the lawn. Jason held his tablet, sitting under a parasol, studying some complex program code. I sat beside him, enjoying this rare leisure time. "Mommy, I'm going to get that biggest blue balloon back." Anna pointed at a balloon drifting nearby, dashing off on her short legs. "Anna, slow down," I reminded with a smile. The accident happened in that moment. Anna only focused on the balloon in the sky, not noticing a tall figure approaching ahead. Her small body solidly bumped into the person's leg, falling on her bottom onto the soft grass. My heart tightened sharply. I immediately stood up. The next second, I froze in place. The person Anna bumped into was Ethan Foster. He seemed to be out for air, no assistance following. He looked down at this sudden little one at his feet, brows locked, eyes showing a hint of displeasure at being disturbed. Anna didn't fall hard. She looked up, blinking those big eyes identical to Ethan Foster's, looking at the giant before her, not afraid at all. Instead saying in her milky voice, "Uncle, your leg is so hard, it made Anna's bottom bloom." Ethan Foster's expression froze in that instant. His gaze shifted from displeasure to astonishment, then to unbelievable shock. He stared fixedly at Anna, that pinked and carved jade little face. Lips slightly parted, but no sound came out. I saw his hand at his side uncontrollably clench. "Anna!" Jason also noticed the situation. He immediately set down the tablet, ran over like a little adult, pulling his sister behind him, looking at Ethan Foster with vigilance. That look, that demeanor, was practically Ethan Foster's replica. "Sister, don't talk to strangers." Jason said calmly, two identical mini versions of himself. I think Ethan Foster's world was probably roiled by massive waves. His gaze finally slowly lifted from the two children's faces, crossing a few meters, piercing the warm afternoon sunlight, precisely landing on my face. In that moment, all the surrounding noise, children's laughter, wind rustling leaves, all vanished. My world was dead silent. I saw the surging waves in his eyes, from shock to ecstasy, to endless regret and pain. Those complex emotions almost swallowed him whole. We locked eyes, as if separated by a century. It was he who pushed me away, and it was I who resolutely took away the most important part of his life. 5 years, fate's gears ultimately crushed us together again. That lawn gaze was like a stone thrown into a lake, completely shattering my peaceful life after returning. The next day, Ethan Foster appeared at my temporary studio. Behind him were 2 assistants and a lawyer in a full business negotiation stance. He didn't apologize, didn't explain, didn't even ask how I had been these 5 years. He just pushed a thick contract in front of me, saying in his usual undeniable tone, "I'll acquire your studio with all shares of Sparkle, the jewelry brand under Foster Group. Name your price." I looked at him, suddenly finding it somewhat amusing. 5 years, his way of solving problems was still only money and power. He thought I was still that Sophia Wade who could be dismissed with money. "Mr. Foster, I'm afraid you'll be disappointed." I pushed the contract back, smiling. My studio is not for sale. However, I changed tack, drawing a prepared document from my folder. But I can consider accepting strategic investment from Foster, on the condition that I retain Baifanji by independent operation and decisions and making rights for the brand. And I want Sparkle's best positions in all high ZNN channels nationwide for my brand Vivian. Ethan Foster was stunned. He probably didn't expect me to turn the tables. His lawyer whispered a reminder beside him. "Mr. Foster, this condition is too." "I agree," Ethan Foster interrupted him, his eyes fixed on me. "As long as you're willing to stay, I'm staying for my career." I stood up, making a please gesture. "If Mr. Foster has nothing else, I need to start working. Discuss cooperation details with my lawyer." I saw a flash of hurt in his eyes, but I turned away, not looking again. "Ethan Foster, what you owe me isn't money, isn't shares, but an explanation, an apology. But until you learn to respect me equally, between us can only be business person and business person." The offensive didn't stop there. Downstairs from the studio, every day, there were the latest sports cars and mountains of roses. He even sent a Michelin 3-Dan star chef team to deliver 3 meals a day here. For these, I accepted them all. Sold the sports cars through assistants, donated the money to children's welfare homes, distributed the roses to all female colleagues in the company. As for the meals, they solved the food problem for our entire team. He wanted to dazzle me with money. I'd use his money for good deeds. The children also became his key targets. He sent the latest game consoles and a room full of Barbie dolls. After receiving the gifts, Jason, in front of Ethan Foster, opened the tablet, pulled up the stock KZan line chart of that game console company, calmly analyzing from a technical perspective. This company's core engine is already behind competitors. Stock price inflated, there will be a big drop within 3 months. "Uncle, your investment vision needs improvement." Ethan Foster. Anna held a huge doll, tilting her head, saying in a sickly sweet voice, "Uncle, you look so handsome. Why do you always seem unhappy? Are you trying to pursue my mommy?" She paused, adding innocently, "But mommy said, men who only express like with money are very empty." Ethan Foster's face turned red, then white. I leaned against the door, watching this man who dominated the business world retreat step by step before my 24 Zan and Zan A, Zan half, Zan year, Zan olds, utterly defeated. A sense of revenge rose in my heart. Ethan Foster's pursuit naturally alarmed another person, Lydia Reynolds. At a celebration banquet after the competition semifinals, she approached me proactively, wearing a fiery red haute couture gown, arm linked with Ethan Foster's, approaching me as the hostess. Ethan Foster's brows were furrowed, but he didn't push her away. "Miss Wade, oh no, should call you Vivian now." Lydia Reynolds' smile carried undisguised superiority and hostility. "Long time no see. Didn't expect you to live quite lively abroad." Her gaze meaningfully glanced at Anna and Jason playing with Isabella nearby. Indeed not bad. I shook my wine glass, smiling faintly. After all, not everyone has the chance to escape a wrong past and start over. My words made her face stiffen instantly. She probably didn't expect me to be so direct. Sophia Wade, don't be too smug. You think coming back with 2 children of unknown origin can get something from Ethan? Dream on. I'm the one who will walk with him to the end. Is that so? I looked at Ethan Foster. He was looking at me, eyes complex. I withdrew my gaze, saying to Lydia Reynolds, "Miss Reynolds, have you heard the saying, those who truly possess never need to show off?" With that, I ignored her, turned to leave. You stop right there. Lydia Reynolds was probably furious, reaching out to grab my hair. My eyes sharpened. I countered, precisely grabbing her wrist. I had fought since childhood, my strength far greater than this pampered lady's. "Ah," she cried out in pain. Ethan Foster's face changed, immediately stepping forward, sternly saying, "Sophia Wade, let go." His instinctive protection was like a thorn stabbing my heart. I let go with a cold laugh. Lydia Reynolds immediately hid in Ethan Foster's arms, crying pitifully. "Ethan, look at her," she bullied me. "My wrist is red." I looked at this glaring scene, the last bit of remaining warmth in my heart gradually cooling. 5 years, nothing changed. In his heart, Lydia Reynolds was always the treasure needing protection, while I was always the one who could be sacrificed. "Mr. Foster, manage your people." I coldly dropped this sentence, walked toward my children without looking back. I didn't see after I turned. Ethan Foster pushed away Lydia Reynolds in his arms, his eyes icy as if ready to kill. Lydia Reynolds' counterattack was more vicious than I imagined, and faster. She allied with Ethan Foster's mother, the old lady who from start to end looked down on my background, believing I tarnished the Foster family. They held a grand press conference. That day, I was preparing for the star competition finals. My assistant rushed and panicked, face pale. "Vivian, bad news. Check the news quick." I opened the studio's projector. The live screen showed dense reporters and flashing lights. Lydia Reynolds sat at the head table, crying uncontrollably. Beside her, her parents looked furious, slamming a document on the table. "Today, we hold this press conference to expose a woman's true face." Her parents faced the camera, voices trembling with anger. 5 years ago, this woman named Sophia Wade used dishonorable means to marry into our Foster family. After divorce, her private life was chaotic. Now she brings back 2 bastards of unknown fathers, deluding to entangle my son. The document was projected on the big screen. It was a DNA report. The report showed Jason Wade, Anna Foster have no paternity with Ethan Foster, forged. I saw it at a glance, but those bloodthirsty reporters wouldn't distinguish. The word bastards was like 2 most poisonous knives, instantly piercing my heart. I could endure any slander against me, but I absolutely wouldn't allow anyone to insult my children like this. The live screen switched. Ethan Foster appeared. He crossed the crowded reporters, walked to the head table. His face was terribly grim, eyes filled with towering rage. My heart in that moment surprisingly rose a faint hope. He would clarify, right? He would tell everyone those are his children. Reporters crazily thrust microphones at him. "Mr. Foster, what do you think of this DNA report?" "Mr. Foster, Miss Reynolds says you're about to get engaged. Is it true?" Ethan Foster didn't look at the report. His gaze crossed the lens, as if looking at me. His eyes held pain, struggle, and a decisiveness I couldn't understand. He took the microphone. The whole venue instantly quieted. I held my breath, waiting for his verdict. Then I heard him say, "My matter with Lydia will be explained to everyone next month." He didn't admit, but didn't deny. In such an occasion, his silence, his ambiguity, was a default. He defaulted that Lydia Reynolds was about to become his fiancée. He defaulted that Jason and Anna were unrelated to him. To protect Lydia Reynolds, to appease his mother's anger, he once again chose to sacrifice me and our children. Bang, the glass in my hand slipped to the ground, shattering. I looked at the screen, at the man I loved for so many years, who gave me the most fatal stab in front of the world. 5 years ago's hope shattered. 5 years later today, the ridiculous remaining warmth in my heart was finally extinguished completely. I turned off the projector. The studio was dead silent. I slowly picked up a glass shard from the ground, gripping it tightly in my palm. The sharp pain made me instantly teen-seen. Does it hurt? It hurts. But a person who died once, what is there to fear? Ethan Foster, Lydia Reynolds, Foster family. You all think I'm still that manipulable Sophia Wade. You're wrong. I picked up my phone, dialed a number. It is me. My voice was calm without a ripple. Prepare for the finals for me. I want to reclaim what is mine. The Star Design Competition Finals site was more starred and studded than any celebrity banquet. Domestic and international media with long lenses aimed at the stage center. Tonight, not only to decide the champion, Foster Group's president Ethan Foster would also officially announce his marriage news here. Backstage, in my lounge, the atmosphere was heavy like the sea before a storm. Vivian, are you really doing this? Isabella looked at me worriedly. It is too risky. Foster and Reynolds families united can easily destroy everything we have domestically. I was facing the mirror, putting on tonight's competition piece for myself, a necklace named Echo. The main body of the necklace was a large, uncut, natural blue sapphire. The raw stone symbolized a dust and covered true heart, surrounded by countless tiny, precisely polished diamonds, like stars in the universe. My hand was steady, eyes more determined than ever. Isabella, I looked at myself in the mirror, softly saying, 5 years ago, I chose to escape for the children. But today, if I retreat again, they will forever bear the stigma of bastards. I'm not fighting for myself, but for them. My phone vibrated. It was a message from Jason. Just a simple okay emoji. I knew the net I cast was ready. It was my turn on stage. I took a deep breath, pushed open the door, walked into that blinding sea of light. According to the process, before announcing the final results, each finalist designer had 3 minutes to elaborate. I stood in the stage center, feeling the gazes from the judges' seats, audience seats, especially Ethan Foster's burning and complex one. He sat in the chief judge position. Beside him was tonight's victoriously dressed queen, Lydia Reynolds. Her parents also sat in the front row, looking at me with disdain and disgust. I didn't look at them. My gaze calmly and peacefully swept the venue. Hello everyone, I'm designer Vivian. My voice through the microphone clearly spread across the hall. My work is named Echo. It tells a story about truth and lies. The big screen started playing my prepared PPT, but after just 2 seconds the screen suddenly went black. The venue erupted. Lydia Reynolds' lips curled in a smug sneer. She thought this was her arranged intimidation. However, the next second, when the screen lit up again, what appeared wasn't my design draft, but a video. In the video, a young designer just starting out was crying to the camera, accusing her painstaking design draft was plagiarized by a senior. And that senior was Lydia Reynolds, followed by the second, third videos. Content similar, all Lydia Reynolds using family background to suppress newcomers, bully assistants, even solid evidence of diva behavior on set, reciting numbers. In one segment, she arrogantly said to an assistant, "Who do you think you are? If I tell you to kneel, you kneel." These were all dug out by Jason from her encrypted cloud drive. The venue instantly exploded. Reporters' flashes went crazy. Lydia Reynolds' face lost all color. She stood up panicked, pointing at me, screaming, "It is you, you framed me. These are all forged." Her parents also trembled with anger, pointing at me, cursing, "You bitch, using such low tactics." Low tactics, I sneered, my voice overriding all the noise. Compared to forging DNA reports, publicly slandering 24 Zan AIDS and half Jan year Jan old children. What are my tactics? I pressed the remote in my hand. The video on the big screen switched. This time, an audio. It was a conversation between Lydia Reynolds and a strange man. Is everything handled? That fake DNA report, did the Foster people believe it? Rest assured, Miss Reynolds, I found the top team abroad seamless. As long as the old lady believes, then Mr. Foster, for family reputation, can only accept. Good. Once Ethan and I marry, Sophia Wade, that bitch and her 2 bastards, I'll make them disappear forever. If the previous videos only collapsed Lydia Reynolds' career, this audio completely destroyed her character. Lydia Reynolds, a thunderous roar from Ethan Foster. He stood up abruptly, those cold eyes now burning with fire enough to incinerate. He wasn't looking at me, but staring deadly at Lydia Reynolds beside him, disgust and killing intent undisguised. "Ethan, listen to me explain. It is not like this," she forged it. Lydia Reynolds was completely panicked, grabbing Ethan Foster's arm, babbling. Ethan Foster flung her away, the force so great she fell embarrassingly to the ground. He stepped down from the judges' seats, crossing all astonished gazes. Toward me, each step like stepping on my heart. He finally stopped before me. His eyes were red, voice carrying unprecedented tremor and vulnerability. "Sophie," he called my nickname. "I'm sorry." I looked at him, didn't speak. At this moment, an unexpected person walked on stage. It was Ethan Foster's special assistant, also his best friend, Charlie Moore. Charlie Moore had followed Ethan Foster for years, always steady and reliable. "Dear media friends." Charlie Moore faced the microphone, voice heavy. "Today, some things. I think I can't hide anymore." Charlie's voice through the speakers, clearly echoed in the dead silent banquet hall. 5 years ago, Miss Lydia Reynolds returned from abroad, found Mr. Foster. She told Mr. Foster she was diagnosed with severe heart disease, and this disease is the Foster family's hereditary illness. She used this as blackmail, forcing the Foster family to accept her, or she would publicize the Foster family's genetic disease history. The venue erupted. Elite family secrets are always the public's favorite. Foster Group was then in key financing restructuring. Any negative news could lead to doom. More importantly, Charlie paused, gaze turning to Ethan Foster. Mr. Foster's mother, that is, Mrs. Foster Sr., has always had a bad heart. She absolutely couldn't take any stimulation. Her parents sat below, faces pale, obviously hearing this for the first time. Mr. Foster's only thought then was to protect the person he truly cared about. He knew once the Foster family accepted Lydia Reynolds' blackmail, then Miss Sophia Wade. That is, the then Mrs. Foster would immediately be targeted by the Foster family. They would treat her as a breeding tool, a monitored object. Her life would never be peaceful. My heart was wrenched sharply. So Mr. Foster made the most painful decision. Charlie's voice carried reluctance. He decided to use the most hurtful way to drive away Miss Sophia Wade. He deliberately called Lydia Reynolds in front of her, deliberately said those heartless words, he thought. As long as he played a bad enough scumbag, Miss Sophia Wade would completely give up on him, thus leaving this place of trouble. His original plan was, after he completely solved Lydia Reynolds and family internal issues, he would immediately go bring back Miss Sophia Wade. For this, he even secretly paved all paths for Miss Sophia Wade in France, that competition that made her famous overnight, that anonymous Eastern buyer who bought her work at Sky's high price. Charlie looked at me, word by word saying, "That person was Mr. Foster." Boom, my brain blanked. So that is how it was. So that fate and changing competition, that first pot of gold that allowed my rebirth, was all him. So, he didn't not love, but loved in a way I completely couldn't understand. Clumsy yet cruel. We never expected Miss Sophia Wade would leave so resolutely, even chose faking death, making us search for 5 whole years. Charlie's voice was full of fatigue. These 5 years Mr. Foster hasn't had a good night's sleep. He poured all his energy into work, step by step firmly controlling Foster Group in his hands. Just so one day, he could have enough power, no longer coerced by anyone, openly welcome his beloved home. As for that press conference, Charlie looked at the ashen and faced Lydia Reynolds. The reason Mr. Foster didn't deny on the spot was because he received Lydia Reynolds' text. She said if he dared deny, she would immediately send people to harm the 2 children. Mr. Foster was using his own reputation to exchange for the children's safety. The truth revealed to the world. All misunderstandings, all resentments, in this moment had answers. I looked up at Ethan Foster before me, his eyes brimmed with tears. This arrogant man, now fragile like a child before me. He wanted to touch me, but didn't dare. "Sophie," he choked. "I know whatever I say now is too late. My self-righteous protections caused you harm. That is a sin I can't redeem. Even in 100 deaths, I just want you to know, from start to end, the one I love is only you." My tears could no longer be held, surging out. Grievance, heartache, all suppressed emotions these 5 years burst in this moment. At this time, a sudden situation occurred. Front row's mother suddenly clutched her chest, face blue, breathing rapid, collapsed. "Mom!" Ethan Foster's face changed drastically, immediately rushing over. The scene instantly chaotic. Outside the hospital's emergency room, atmosphere oppressively suffocating. The doctor came out, expression grave. The old lady had acute heart failure, needs urgent blood transfusion, but she is Rh-gen negative blood. Blood bank shortage. Any family with this blood type? Ethan Foster immediately stepped forward, but was stopped by the doctor. "Mr. Foster, you can't, your own heart." All gazes filled with despair. At this moment, a calm child's voice rose. "I might be able." It was Jason. He walked out from behind me, still holding his tablet. He looked at the doctor, calmly saying, "My blood type record shows I'm also Rh-gen negative, and my body indicators all meet donation standards." Everyone shocked, looking at this 4 and Zan 8 years old child. Ethan Foster turned sharply to me, eyes with unspeakable excitement and plea. My heart in chaos, that is my son. But inside is his biological grandmother. "Mommy." Jason pulled my hand. I checked. With my weight, drawing appropriate blood won't affect my health. Saving people is right. I looked at my son's calm and determined eyes, finally nodded. Outside the blood drawing room, long corridor, only Ethan Foster and I left. He stood before me, this Eder Baba me tall, always straight as Pine Man, slowly bent his knees before me. He knelt before me. "Sophia." He looked up, tears sliding down his handsome cheeks. "Please forgive me." I was shocked by his action, stepping back. "Get up. If you don't forgive me, I won't get up." He stubbornly knelt there, like a sinner awaiting judgment. "I know my mistakes can't be made up. I made you suffer 5 years, alone in a foreign land, giving birth to our children, enduring all hardships. I'm not human." He reached to grab my hand, but retracted, as if afraid to dirty me. "I've transferred Baifanjawushiyi of Foster Group's shares to you and the children's names. All my assets to you too. I want nothing. I just want you to give me another chance." He cried like a child, completely setting aside all pride and dignity. I looked at him, heart-mixed feelings. Hate, of course hated. But now, seeing him kneel before me, seeing his mother hanging by a thread in the ER, seeing our calm son in the blood drawing room, I suddenly realized the blood ties between us, the bonds between us, can't be severed by any misunderstanding or time. I squatted down, held his arm, pulled him up. "Ethan Foster." I looked into his eyes, word by word saying, "Let the past be past." He stared at me stunned, eyes bursting with unbelievable ecstasy. "Sophia, but," I interrupted him. "We need to start over between us, not as Mr. Foster and substitute, but as Ethan Foster and Sophia Wade. Are you willing?" He nodded vigorously, like a child getting candy, hugging me tightly. I'm willing," he repeated over and over in my ear. 1,000, 10,000 times willing. This 5 late hug warm and scalding. Mother was saved. When she woke from coma, learning it was her own grandson who saved her life. This domineering old lady for a lifetime shed tears for the first time. She held my hand, repeating sorry over and over. Lydia Reynolds, fate imaginable. Fraud, slander, commercial theft, awaiting her legal punishment. Reynolds' family also due to this scandal, stock plummeted overnight from top elite to second Dan tier. After all, dust settled. One day, fine weather. Ethan Foster didn't use any grand spectacle. He just appeared downstairs from my studio. In his hands, my awards and winning work, Echo. But that dust-covered blue sapphire raw stone had been personally polished and cut by him, blooming light brighter than any diamond. He knelt on one knee like 5 years ago, but this time, his eyes had no pain or plea, only overflowing love and sincerity. He opened the velvet ring box inside. Lay not some pigeon egg, but a simply designed plain band ring, Sophie. He looked up at me, corners of eyes and brows all gentle smiles. They say love is restraint, but now I know. Love is indulgence. Honesty. It is wanting the world to know I love you. I once thought giving you money was loving you, but now I understand. Loving you is giving you my all and respecting your every decision. He handed me a document. This was Foster Group's Beffengesenchermel's hair transfer agreement. From now on, I work for you. I hadn't spoken. Two small figures rushed from behind me. Anna hugged Ethan Foster's left leg. Jason hugged the right. Mommy, hurry, agree. Such a rich and handsome dad. Miss this and no more. Anna stamped anxiously. From investment return rate, this deal is sure profit. Jason added calmly. I looked at these three most important people in my life. Looked at Ethan Foster's eyes, that sea of stars only for me. Finally showed the most relieved, most brilliant smile in 5 years. I extended my hand. Ethan Foster, I say. The rest of life, please advise. The moment he put the ring on me, evening breeze blew, carrying rose fragrance from the flower bed. I suddenly recalled many years ago. I asked him what we were. He was silent. Then, now I have the answer. He is the myriad stars falling into my arms, and I am the gentle evening breeze he docks after wandering half a life.